All right, so that's 3 movies down, right? Scream 1, Scream 2, and what was the third one, Travis?
Scritherium.
God damn it. Okay, so yeah, there was a time where Scream 1, 2, and 3 was all that Scream had. That's it.
Couldn't scream any longer.
That was a beautiful time, wasn't it?
I missed that
Well,
time.
Dan, you were happy because, like you said in Scream 3, you were happy that Dewey and Gail finally got married. That's what we were waiting for.
That's what you wanted. That's what you were waiting for all
for
3
the
movies.
whole time.
I was.
Well, you know what? Scream 4 comes in and fucks it up. I'm just kidding. So 10 years later, they were like, you know what? I think I got it. I got another idea for a Scream movie. We can go further. And, well, that's what happened. We got a Scream 4, guys. Welcome back to a special episode of Strangers in the Alps, a slasher podcast. I'm Frank.
I'm Sam.
I'm Travis School.
And I'm Dan.
Huh?
Travis School.
Dan, Travis.
Dan. Jason. Kill.
That's another time.
So what did we watch?
We watched Scriforum,
Also known as Scream 4.
also
normal
known as
people.
Scriforum.
You should
To
get that
Travis.
checked
Read the
out.
log line, Travis.
All right, let me get that VHS tape.
We're never ready.
Because I
Wow,
always
that's a heavy
get-
that
tape.
was a big one. That was a Titanic double VHS.
That's
Sounded
what she
you-
said.
That sounded like you dropped a log.
I'm reading the log line. It is 10 years have passed, and Sidney Prescott, who has put herself back together, thanks in part to her writing, is visited by the Ghostface killer.
The
Scriforum.
rapper.
So do we need to do any kind of just summary of the plot? Or should we do our pre-thoughts and then do the summary of the plot? That's an open
Pre-thoughts,
question.
and then we can just talk about.
Well, I think we need to do a summary of the plot.
Yeah, there's some stuff that we got to cover in this.
I don't want to just do it with context. I think we need to do a summary. But we can do our pre-thoughts first? Is that what
Yeah,
you,
let's-
whatever you guys want to do.
Well, let's go with Sam, because, I mean, Sam, you were, I feel like you were the least excited about this.
For Scream 4? Or
Yeah.
just Scream in general?
Both.
We need to put 3 behind us.
It's hard.
But
It's hard
those
to do
big-
that.
but
But you got 4 in front of you now.
Those bangs are gone. We're never going to see the bangs again.
Oh, we'll
They're done.
The bangs grew out.
We'll get to her wedding hair in just a second.
So my initial thoughts, I don't have one.
No.
I think that's beautiful. I can do mine, unless we need to go in order.
No, yeah,
No,
go
go.
for it.
I kind of have similar pre-thoughts. I was at a place where, you know what, I don't know. I've seen 3 of them. I don't know where we're going. I'm just going to sit back and watch. And that was my pre-thought.
Sam may or may not have waited to the last second to watch this movie.
I
Out
hear
of
the same
fear.
about you.
Maybe we had trouble trying to watch it at the same time.
Fun story, I texted him, and I was like, oh, I'm going to watch Scriforum now. He goes, same. And on Voodoo VHS, I was able to play it, how to pause it, and then I was going to replay it, and it jumped me from the beginning. And I'm like, oh, that's odd. It's fine. It's glitch. And then as I kept watching, a little warning popped up saying, hey, you can't watch the same movie on 2 different accounts. And that's when I realized Travis was also trying to watch it. So I was like, screw you, Travis. It's me first.
But did
So I
Travis
bumped him out.
really need to watch it? He's probably seen it 15 times.
We'll get to my pre-thoughts when I'm ready, sir.
We're ready for yours because we already gave
Yeah,
ours. We
so-
had none.
So then I ended up watching it on Netflix. I have the Blu-ray, but
Netflix HS.
Netflix.
I
We
said
have
it.
the
I said
Blu-ray
it.
and you couldn't pop it into your machine?
Because I have it, but I
That's
didn't
what
have
she
it
said.
on me. And you know, pretty soon Netflix VHS, you can't share your tapes. Like
That's
I
right.
can't bring it to your house.
That's right.
It won't work. The Netflix VHS tapes
True.
won't
All right.
work
Am
anymore.
I to understand that you watched that movie at work then?
No, I watched it. I watched it at home. You can watch Vudu on other devices other than
But
your
you
computer.
said you couldn't watch the Blu-ray because you didn't have it with
well,
you.
because it was at my. It wasn't at my house.
It was his other house.
It was at
was
my
in
other
one of your
house.
pants.
Pre-thoughts, please.
I'm trying to get there, and you're asking me my life story.
For one time
Can
we
you
care.
write a book about it?
Yes.
And then read it.
So I was actually very, very excited for this movie to come out in theaters because I had seen, like I mentioned before, I'd seen the other ones at home, and I was like, now is the time when I can finally see a Scream movie in theaters. So I couldn't wait. For me, this was like a big event. I was counting down the days. I'll talk about my theater experience after, because we're going to let Frank have his pre-thoughts.
Can I have them now? Okay.
They're yours. I'm passing them over.
Oh, thank you so much. I was in a similar boat. It was the first Scream movie I saw in theaters. So when it was announced, very excited because we only had 3. And even though I do love the third one, like as a fun time, it's still not a great, like, it's a decent ending, I think, for the series. It's like, okay, it's done. Story's over. But I thought the franchise had more in the tank. I feel like they could have done more. So I was interested to see where they go from there. Especially with such a, like, open and close, open and shut case. Like, okay, the story's done. Where else are they going to go? I was more intrigued, but also just excited to see it in theaters. So those were my pre-thoughts. Now,
Should we do some kind of a summary of the plot?
yeah, I think Sam, you're the best equipped at this.
Are you freaking
You
serious?
just saw it like 15 minutes ago.
I have horrible memory. All right. So
I'll help you.
thank you. Sydney gets So Sydney gets back into Woodsboro because she had written a book, and then murders also started to happen. And then one of the new characters is her cousin, miraculously just showed up.
Her niece?
Her cousin.
Oh, I thought it
I
was...
thought her cousin, her niece.
Yeah. That's her
No, it's
cousin.
her niece.
She literally said
Because now,
cousin.
niece?
now she has a half sister. She has a sister now.
I don't.
That you wouldn't have, your niece would not be your half sister.
No, it's her cousin because
Well, then what is
Jill's
the
mom?
mom?
Jill's mom is
mom.
Okay,
Jill.
yeah.
Okay.
Is that her aunt then?
Yes.
Okay, moving on.
So her cousin
You're right.
is part of the main character, and then murders happen, and then they're trying to figure it out. Just like
10
all
years
the-
later. It's
10
all
year-
it's all happening again 10
Yep.
years later on the anniversary of Maureen Prescott's death. And they're trying to figure out who's the new killer, what's going on, what's the mystery.
Was it the anniversary of her death, or
I think
when
so.
Scream, or when like
Oh, yeah,
the
yeah.
initial
No, it was Maureen
Sydney.
Prescott.
because
Right.
when Sydney gets to the town square in the beginning, she's like, "Oh, well, it is the anniversary."
Wow,
Yeah.
did I watch the movie?
so
I mean, you like I did. You probably just watched it. and-
Yeah.
that's about it, right?
Well,
People
I mean,
start
it centers
screaming.
around high school a lot, so it kind of harkens back to the first movie in that sense. And
Yeah.
interesting little fact I didn't know, they actually shot that movie in Ann Arbor, Michigan, where the University of Michigan is.
I would have never known that.
I didn't know that either. When I started reading about it after I saw the movie, I happened to run into a location. Like, it was all shot in Michigan and around Michigan.
I thought you saw the film and were like, "Oh, that's Michigan." I was like, "I didn't know that."
Instant
I wish I
recollection.
knew it that well. Okay, so yeah, that's good. That's pretty much it. I think we can give it context as we talk. If we
Yeah.
need to bring up any characters or
Somehow
there's some new
Ghostface has
characters in there.
returned.
Okay, jumping in with all feet. Who's up?
I will say this is like a time capsule movie because
Uh-huh.
a sidekick too.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh
No.
my goodness!
Oh wow, we've already jumped to the end.
And-
No, at the
Oh,
very
no, it's
beginning.
at the beginning.
Okay,
When she was
so-
on her
The
the cold
phone.
open, when she was on
That's-
her phone and she was like, "Oh, I'm texting this guy, or I'm
the
Facebooking
Facebook
this guy."
stalker.
Yeah,
The
it was
intro
the stab,
kill.
What do you mean
stab
by
six.
sidekick?
That's
Then
the
I-
name of the phone.
Yeah,
That was
the
the
type
the
of
phone
phone.
that flips. The phone she's using.
Oh, I didn't
That
know
mess-
that.
Messenger
I
type
love that
phone?
one. It's a literal brick. It's very heavy.
I don't remember that
and
phone.
the screen swivels up, and then it reveals a keypad.
Yeah.
I always wanted one of those.
I had
Oh,
I
me
had that
too.
particular one, and it was the best thing in my life.
I didn't have one, but I remember like I knew someone who had it, so I was in high school, and I don't know, I was always afraid to flip it because I didn't have it. That's why I thought it'd go like a frisbee.
No, I was flip phone to smartphone. I didn't do anything in between.
Sidekick was the original smartphone.
Yeah.
I had a
But
Nokia.
was it really a smartphone?
It wasn't. It wasn't.
I mean,
It
could you go
connected to the
online with
internet.
it?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can, but
Okay.
you have to pay for it.
Yeah, I didn't have any of that. I did the texting. We had to you push it 3 times to get A.
Yeah.
Push it 4 times to get that letter.
Yeah.
I mean, a text would literally
A
take me all
T9.
night.
I
Yeah,
used to
Tina.
go on Facebook with one of those cheapy like not Nokia, but like a similar.
Was it the
pre-
chocolate?
No,
The
it
LG
was
LG
chocolate.
chocolate.
It was okay. I called it a blueberry because it was like a fake
It
blackberry.
was the fake BlackBerry.
Yeah.
I remember that. You
The
bet.
palm.
yeah,
The
yeah.
palm. Boy, the palm was so hot.
Speaking of hot, remember that Justin Timberlake commercial for the chocolate where it was sexy back? It plays sexy back and it had the chocolate.
Speaking of,
I do not remember
That
that.
took you a good amount of time.
okay, well
No.
that's a good
Okay.
place to
So
start the
Scream
opening.
4.
Well, and it okay, I'm sorry.
You know, also
Don't
what's
mean to
hot?
interrupt.
No worries.
It is a good place to start because I actually have notes dealing with that. I just a couple of things we talked about, like in some of the previous other previous movies, the discussion about the use of phones and things, and so now we're in 2011, folks. Nobody's answering their cell phone in 2011. I
Cell
wasn't
phone.
answering anything at that point, and you had ID of who was calling you anyway. So if the ID didn't come up, and everybody answered their phone. Not one person took a message, which
However-
is so bizarre to me.
However, I did like that they hung up.
Oh yeah.
So it's just kind of like
But then they would answer again.
true, but they weren't. There were some parts where they would hang up. I don't like that they were like, "I'm hanging up now," and then they hung up. Just hang up. But also, I like that they would cancel the call right away instead of picking up.
How
So
about block the caller?
that's true.
I'm just
Well,
saying.
you couldn't because that's what I kind of like too. Was remember with the setup they were using other people's phones.
That's true.
So that's why I didn't mind it, and they kind of did. Because I mean, I agree. In the beginning, when they used the landlines, were all the were all the movie within a movie. That was pretty much the only time. The rest of it was them using
cell
cell
phones.
phones. But sorry.
Okay,
But-
I'm not done, but you can go ahead if we're still talking about cell phones.
No, I was gonna say my favorite part though is like it was when the iPhone came out. So they'd be like, "Hold on, let me send a text," and they hold their phone out. That kept bothering me. So you can see the iPhone clearly, and they would swipe it
Oh, I never.
Why
I
did-
didn't
why
even.
did that
I
bother
didn't
you?
even notice
because
that.
it was just like, oh, it's a product shot, like product placement.
Maybe they got money.
Yeah, they probably did. But go on, Dan.
Oh no, I was just gonna say along with that, I don't understand why they were answering their phones, but whatever. It's the movie, it has to happen. But also, you would think after all this time in this town that somebody would have figured out that the guy on the other end of the phone is going to kill you if he says he's going to kill you. They seem to know everything else about Ghostface. They have
Yeah.
all these stab movies out, and yet they still
I-
are acting like, oh, who is this? Oh, Roger, stop calling me. I'm not Roger. I'm going to fucking kill you if you don't hang up this
Oh
phone.
wow, that's actually
mean,
a really
it's
good
just-
imitation.
I mean, it's just. I feel like I'm just, and I don't. I feel like I'm doing a rap over it. I'm not. I just feel like I keep circling. I keep circling Cleveland, and we're just not landing.
I think
we're
it's
just circling.
I mean, I think the movie kind of does try its best a little bit because it has it where now remember it's been 10 years and it's the whole thing is like, oh, it's the anniversary, they're having the Stabathon. So I think it's because everyone has the app. So I think like at the beginning everyone thinks it's people playing around because like they say like, oh, I got a call this morning. Like it's a thing where people call each other on the anniversary in that day and are always messing around with people.
but as an audience watching the movie, that doesn't fly.
I mean,
You're not cleverly tricking me on anything. I know what's going down.
That's why they got killed and we
Yeah,
didn't.
I don't think they were necessarily. I don't think the movie made a point with you trying to figure out like, oh, is it really them or not?
So let's
yeah.
talk about the opening.
Because I was gonna say which goes into the alternate
I want
opening.
to talk but I also
So
want to
the-
talk about how the movie opened and how it kept
Oh, the
being in the
multiple fake
middle of
outs.
a trailer, of a middle of a trailer, in the middle of a trailer.
Can I just mention that? So we've seen Scream 3, right? Where they were filming Stab 3.
Fortunately,
They did eventually make a Stab 3 in universe 10 years later.
Really?
Yeah, they did. Yeah, and like in universe, Gail wrote a book called I think it was Hollywood Murders or something
Okay.
like that, or Hollywood Horror. And so Stab 3 canonically is called Stab 3 Hollywood Horror. Which they have a poster of in the later
What?
like cinema club scene.
Yeah.
And they did get Tori Spelling back to play Sydney after
Wow.
they killed the new actress.
So it's an actual movie.
Yeah, well, I
It's
mean,
a movie within the
it's
movie.
It's the series within the movie. So now we open on a fake opening kill that you think is the real opening kill.
Right.
And then you're like, oh, this is a little terrible, and you find out it's actually Stab what is it, Stab 6?
6.
Yeah, Stab 6,
Yeah.
And then
which is
Stab 7. Yeah.
Yeah, which is the fake opening to Stab 7. So they're having fun with their own little, like, meta stuff. I know it kind of got tiring for you guys at some point, but I think the fact that they were making fun of it at this point was a good, like, step forward. They were like, yeah, we know it's ridiculous.
For me, though, I will say I love that opening. I love the double opening. I felt like, yes, they were poking fun of themselves and the whole meta-ness of it, but it wasn't overkill. It was. I think it was like the right amount. They kind of pulled it back compared to like 3 and 2.
Yeah.
So seeing that, I actually enjoyed it, and I was like, okay, maybe I would actually have fun with this movie.
Yeah. And I think too they had like the perfect actresses when they did. They had Anna Paquin
Yeah.
and Kristen Bell.
Yeah.
That's my favorite.
Yeah.
That's also my favorite kill in the entire movie.
Because
you
Kristen Bell
talk
just
too
shoves
much.
it in her
Yeah, well, you
because you
stop
talk too
talking.
much. I thought that was
And he's been doing Frozen for so long.
That was hilarious. I loved it so much.
And I love that it's the woman that killed the other woman, you know?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
just kind of, I don't know, I like the little
I
surprise.
will say seeing it in theaters, I remember. I'll get more into it later, but seeing it like that was a very big crowd pleaser.
Yeah.
Like the audience was like losing their mind.
Oh, yeah.
Like while all this fake openings and everyone would like look at each other. It was fun seeing that in theaters.
You guys were one?
Yeah, well, I'm gonna get into it. So my theater experience
God.
was, I remember, like I said, I was so excited for this movie, and I ended up seeing it like around, I don't know, like 7 on a Saturday opening weekend, and I just remember like this was before reserved seating, so I was like, I gotta get there early, this is gonna sell out, like everyone in town is gonna watch this movie, so I ended up going to a now defunct theater, AMC Woodland Hills, Promenade
Oh, no.
16.
Fun.
Yeah, and I remember
Not-
going, and I was like, okay, cool. Saturday at 7 p.m., there was maybe like 10 people in the theater. And yeah, there was like 10 of us, and I was like, okay, no, they're all going to come in when the movie starts. But I don't know, like...
But it made like 97 million. But that might have been worldwide. Was that worldwide?
That had to have been worldwide.
Yeah.
It didn't... I don't think in its opening weekend it did particularly well.
It was quote unquote a financial disappointment, but it
Oh,
still
wow.
did like relatively well considering the series as a whole isn't like I mean they do well on their small budgets,
Yeah.
but they wanted so much more, and that's why it took another like what 10
years?
10 years to do Scream 5.
Oh, dang.
Yeah,
5
this
cream.
was supposed to be the
5
start of a
cream,
new
sir.
trilogy.
What?
ahead, try to say
Scream
it.
4 was?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Scream 4. So we'll get into the details of what 5 and 6 were originally supposed to be towards the end because it involves the like late act twist. But this was pitched as the start of a new trilogy, 4, 5, and 6, with outlines for 5 and 6 ready to go. And because it didn't do well, they basically were like, nah, here MTV, make a show about it. We don't care.
Oh, so that's how that came
that's
to
how
be.
that- okay.
Yeah, but I love. I know some people feel like it's a little overdone with the fake outs, but I think it's just the perfect amount of like ridiculous, goofy comedy with brutality, especially like that last kill.
Are you talking about the credits or the overall?
No,
The
fake openings.
the fake openings,
the
and
stab
then the
7 or the stab openings. Yeah.
yeah.
I
and-
agree. I agree with you. I thought they were very clever. I mean, I wasn't expecting it. Especially the first time I went, whoa, oh wow, really?
I too think it's because at the same time, like as an audience member, I think you're like, you're kind of almost the characters. You're like, we're opening up with a call again. Like
Yeah.
how many times have we done this already?
Right.
So I thought it was fun. Like I agree with you guys. Like twisting, having a little fun with it.
I mean, it's been iconic at this point, the opening, so everybody's expecting it. And if you didn't go with it, it would have done a disservice to the franchise. So adding that little special second opening.
Putting the twist on it
Yeah.
made it work.
Yeah.
I will say though, since we're talking about this, and this goes through the entire movie, but this movie was far more bloody and graphic than the
Yeah.
first 3.
oh yeah.
I mean, in terms of how they showed it to you. The first 3, I mean, I don't know if technology just got to a place where Wes Craven would go, wow, I can actually take a knife and shove it straight into someone's chest and stomach and cut their throat wide open because I didn't used to be able to do that. And they really took that to the nth degree.
Speaking of the knives, I remember. So since Sam and I were watching it around, something about the knife was bothering me. Did you notice that the knives were CG? They were CGI. In this
I
film?
figured it had to be because
Yeah.
you couldn't do that any other way, what they were doing.
Yeah, because it was brutal too. Because even the kill with I think Olivia in the bedroom, like I This is only my third time actually, Dan, seeing this film. I
Only
saw
third.
No, I saw it because I saw it once in theaters. I saw it once when it came out on a home video, and then I was kind of nervous because we were talking about like Scream 3. I was nervous to kind of rewatch this one because I remember really liking it. And that scene, so I totally forgot about it. When she's in the room and you see her intestines coming out of her stomach.
It's
Wow.
really gross.
Yeah, it's very graphic.
And is that, Frank, is that because technology had gotten to a place where Wes Craven could do that? Because he didn't do it in the first 3 movies.
Sorry,
I think it was that, and also like just a natural evolution of what you could get away with the MPAA.
Yeah.
Because with the original, he actually had to cut several seconds out of the opening kill where they show Casey's boyfriend out by the pool with his guts out. They couldn't show all of that. The movie actually originally got an NC-17, so
Oh,
they cut
damn.
out several seconds of that to get that. So I think by this point, they were just able to get away with so much more that they went full out. Let's do as much as we can. And I mean, by this point, it was 10 years since the last movie. They kind of had to up that.
The ante.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the ante, because by this point, Saw's been out. You've got your Hostels, all that stuff. So
Torture porns.
yeah, and I mean they make a comment on that in the movie.
Well, yeah, Frank, I think it goes down to, because I remember we talked about in Scream 2 and Scream 3, where because of things that happened around the time, they had to like tone down the
Yeah.
films.
That's what I was
So-
thinking
yeah,
all throughout.
so
So
that-
did nothing happen in 2010 and 11?
I'm sure stuff did.
I'm sure it did too.
Yeah,
It's normal at this point, unfortunately.
yeah.
I'm just sort of tripping through all this, but we have to talk about Monica's wedding hair. When I first saw it, I thought, oh, she kind of looks like her normal hair. And then as the camera was doing different angles, it was so overly hot curled and so overly wavy. She looked like she was getting married that day. That's
woke
that's
up
what
like
wedding
this.
hair looks like. And what happened to Dewey's limp and all his gimpy?
Yeah, his
That's
limp
right,
disappeared.
Completely
His
gone.
limp
It's 10
disappeared.
years. It's 10 years.
I-
He's got it
He
fixed.
walked it off, Dan. Walk
Yeah.
it off.
I think
Unusual
they
I think they
suspects.
forgot.
Is it unusual or usual?
I think they made
Suspects.
mention some
Usual.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think they made mention of it, of him going through like physical therapy to get rid of it or something
I
like
didn't
that.
miss that part.
Because there was,
Yeah, that must
I
have been
mean,
a quick line.
I didn't ask myself this in the movie. I didn't care. But apparently, too, I guess, speaking of that, there's a deleted scene where I think Dewey also mentions that, like, Sydney's dad had, like, passed away in the past couple years, which is why
he
he's
did
not
that
in the
scene.
film at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's quite a few
Yeah.
like deleted moments from the film. They also brought back Tatum's death. I think originally Olivia's death would have
Who's
involved
Tatum again?
Exactly.
And when did that death happen?
In the first movie.
Oh,
Yeah. So Dewey's sister.
Oh.
Originally, Olivia's death. When Sydney comes up, she would have seen a cat door, like wrapped around Olivia's neck. With her guts out and everything,
Yeah.
as a callback to Tatum's death. And there would have been another scene of Dewey, referencing Tatum and actually, not forgetting that his sister died like 15 years ago.
Well,
Yeah.
they kind of referenced that in the beginning, though, with the opening where she goes running into the garage, but this time
Yeah.
the, like,
went
garage
underneath
door
it, yeah.
crushed her.
Right.
What did you all think of the alternate deleted opening?
Well, explain it.
Okay, so in the deleted opening, it starts out the same. So you have the fake out intros, and then but you know how you have the whole scene where the friend dies and she goes running upstairs and it becomes a whole chase. It's not a chase at all. Actually, the phones don't ring. So what happens is when she's no, I'm sorry. So the phone does ring. Remember she's on the phone with her friend and you hear her friend die and then she gets chased around. Well, in this one, she goes downstairs to see her friend dead and her friend's like, I'm just joking. I'm really alive. So then they're sitting in the kitchen and she goes into the fridge and when she's getting food out of the fridge, there's no phone call. You see like Ghostface in the shadows
Right.
and he sneaks up and kills them. I kind of like the deleted one a little better.
Same.
I mean, because it kind of changes the formula, and it's like, okay, no one's safe now.
Yeah.
And I don't know, like, there's just, it kind of reminded me of The Strangers a little bit.
Oh, I haven't seen that one yet.
Okay, but no, I just liked it because that whole thing just, that
The
he was
reveal?
there the
Yeah.
whole time, and he sneaks up. I thought it was more suspenseful, and I was
I
kind
agree.
of Eeh.
Yeah, right when the fridge closed. And
Yeah.
it's a normal tactic to do that, but
We never saw
still
it in
works.
Scream. We've never seen that
yeah,
in Scream.
so seeing him there, you're like, there's no way for them to escape now. They're pretty much just done.
Yeah, he was there the whole time.
Yeah.
Did they have the explanation of the voice changer in the first edition, or was that just in the alternative cut?
No, yeah, they explained
I
it
don't
in that one.
remember her. Oh, wait, she did
Right
say,
when she answered.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
I have that because I was going to say you have to explain that.
Yeah, she said it's an app.
Oh, it's an app. That's
Mm-hmm.
right.
Which I love that they bring up,
Update.
I guess a theme of the movie is how
Technology.
the original killings were mythologized by the new kids.
Yeah.
You know, they don't see it as a tragedy; they see it as entertainment. They see it as something that happened that was kind of cool. Hey, like, you guys remember when they killed all those people? You know, they don't have that personal.
Right.
That personal what's it called, relationship with the events. So to them it's just something that happened that they know about. Like the movies are more what they're all about.
It's
you know?
glorified, yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, even in the beginning when like they're showing like Woodsboro and it shows like the city worker and they're taking all. It's like, oh, we have 12 left, and Dewey even has that line where he goes, "Oh, it was like our tragedy and their
Yeah.
party," or I forgot. I totally butchered the line.
One generation's tragedy and is the next one's joke.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but Frank, sorry to go back. Do you know why they changed the ending up for Scream 4? Why that was deleted?
Wait,
I
I
didn't
know
the
that.
alternate intro or the ending?
The alternate intro.
Oh, the alternate intro. Okay, so so obviously Kevin Williamson is the one who wrote most of this, but he had prior commitments to the Vampire Diaries.
Oh my god.
Who
So-
wrote that?
Yeah, it was
Oy.
one of his pet projects, and it was actually like first position. So when he got called for that, he had to go. So they actually brought back Scream 3 writer Aaron Kruger to do some additional You know what? He's gotten better.
Now,
he
he's great.
did Top Gun Maverick.
I was nervous with
What?
Top Gun
Yeah.
Maverick.
He
Yeah.
did Top Gun?
Yeah, he went from Scream 3, he wrote like a bunch of Transformers movies, and then, so I was nervous about Top Gun Maverick, but
Yeah, I mean, he's gotten better. I don't think most of his rewrites here are terrible. But from what I've read, it sounds like, as is, there was already some butting of heads over creative decisions between Williamson and the Weinsteins.
Ugh.
So I think, in the end, especially when we get into discussions on the proposed ending for this movie and then 5 and 6, it just sounds like the Weinsteins wanted things to remain the same, and Williamson wanted to go in new directions that were just like a little different, maybe a lot different. And I think that's why, because the original alternate opening doesn't have a Ghostface call. There's no
Yeah.
chase. There's no
I liked it.
back and forth. It's
Yeah.
just straight into the kills.
But
And I mean, by this point, it's 4, so you've got your iconic, franchise
Right.
callbacks. It just seems like they wanted more Ghostface personality in there, which I don't mind, but I think personally the alternate intro works better for me.
I agree.
and I guess we can go. What was, or I don't know. I was gonna say, since we're talking about different visions, you said the trilogy plans.
Oh, okay. So, I mean, we're gonna have to go over to the end because it involves the twists. So, spoiler alert. And look, I'll just go out and say this is one of my favorite Ghostface, just because it's just such a stupid, bonkers idea. The killers are Charlie, the
Cousin.
film school.
Oh, yeah. Randy version.
The
okay.
16 Candles nerd guy.
Exactly.
That's what those two
Anthony
guys
Michael
remind me
Hall.
of. Didn't they
And-
remind you of 16
Yeah.
Candles,
Yeah, the
those two
nerds.
guys? Yeah.
Bit dark.
Ducky.
And Jill, Sydney's cousin. Sydney's favorite cousin.
Jill Roberts.
Who was she played by?
Emma Roberts.
Played by, who is Julia Roberts? That's her niece.
Really?
Yes, Jill Roberts.
But
I did not know that.
Yeah.
I really love this choice of Ghostface because it's like a dark mirror. She's basically like a fallen final girl, and I love that concept, especially here. So the original idea was to let Jill get away with this. The movie would have ended at the house
Oh.
right after she stabbed Sydney and had her little,
Her episode.
her episode.
she
Her
threw- yeah.
montage. Her
Yes.
montage.
Yeah.
It would have ended there. 5 would have started, and you catch up with everyone. Jill's in college. Sydney's.
Wait a minute. What about Nev?
Oh, she's
Sydney.
She survived, but
I
she
know
has.
you would have to find that out in
but
5.
yeah. So you would not know whether she lived or died at the end. It would have ended with Jill closing her eyes and then getting picked up by the paramedics.
Oh yeah,
and then,
when she was smiling.
yeah, and then that end scene where
The cameras?
all the reporters. That's
media?
where it would have ended. You would not know
Oh,
if
it's during that tracking shot, and all the
Yeah.
reporters are talking about what a hero
And
she
she's
is.
smiling like. Ugh.
you would not know if Sydney survived or not. 5 would have gone on. Jill's in college, and Sydney is a professor at this college. It's been a couple years, but she doesn't remember anything that happened before she got stabbed. She lost so much blood that she's like, she had retrograde amnesia or something.
She
So
got hit with amnesia bullet.
You lost me there.
yeah. That's the one.
yeah.
That's the one plot point that I'm kind of like iffy on. But
Yeah.
the rest of it is really interesting, actually. So, Jill's in college. She's enjoying her fame, and a new killer shows up in college, and they know that Jill was the killer in 4,
Okay.
and they're trying to expose her. So Jill would have had to.
Exposed.
Jill would have both. It would have been a killer versus killer
This is
concept.
kind of turning into The Village.
But Jill would also have to kill anybody that
Had
finds
known.
out about it,
Yeah.
other than the killer.
That's just a lot of kills.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's basically the second trilogy would have been like a dark
Comedy?
mirror version of the
Yeah.
first trilogy. So it would have been like Scream 2, but this time the killer's the main.
To be.
Yeah.
I have to say, I think I like all that, except don't have Nev Campbell in the next movie.
it's-
She's
yeah, no.
just dead.
Well,
Yeah.
and
that's
she
what
got away with it. I don't need her with amnesia.
It's a little
As a
contrived.
professor, a new career.
Yeah.
From actor to writer
That's
to
right.
now
Professor.
professor.
That's right.
But I
and
think
therapist.
that, I mean, there's no reason. I think too. It's just the whole like with franchises where they're kind of just afraid to like kill off their legacy characters. It's
Yeah.
like kill her off. You don't need her. That's going to be your weakest spot now. It's gonna like limit
is,
your
you're right.
writing. It's gonna limit your writing. You can't move on because, like I said, you're gonna have to keep answering. It's like, why does Sydney keep coming back?
It becomes
Sydney's
your
alive.
training wheels.
It becomes your training wheels. You got to move on from.
I agree. I thought it was okay for me that Nev Campbell, that Sydney was in Scream 4. I was okay with it because I thought they actually handled it really well, having her come back,
Yeah.
doing the book tour. Oh boy, did her publisher need to go, right?
I
Being an actor, I tell you, that publisher
What?
need to go down
that
bad.
was Alison Brie.
Yeah.
I
Alison
was
Brie.
like, hey, look, it's Annie from Community.
And she's just as annoying.
yeah,
Oh wait, she's what?
she's Annie in the show Community.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But speaking of coming back, what did you all feel about Dewey and
I'm just
Gail?
so sorry their relationship wasn't working out, and so surprised.
Well-
because it seems like such a perfect mating of them getting married.
Well, see, I think the thing is, Dan.
She woke up like that.
It's the most fabricated, forced relationship in the history of film. I'm telling you.
Both on film and personal.
It just doesn't belong. It never made any sense in any movie. Go
Dan,
ahead.
that's the thing with me because in the opening, it's Dewey it's Gail waking up or Dewey, and you see the other partner laying in bed, and they're happy, and it's like, oh, we're happily married. But I think at the time when they almost didn't come back to the film because at that time when they were filming was when they were actually getting their divorce.
Oh, really?
Yes. So I think that's why a lot of it, like if you realize Dewey and Gail don't have a lot of scenes together. And
And
Because
they're always
there's
bickering.
friction.
and that's what's friction. So I'm like, oh my God, like, it's cool they came back, but I'm like, that's probably why they didn't have a lot of scenes together.
But it almost, in a weird way, for this story, that relationship and journey made the most sense to me in Scream 4 than it did in any of the first 3.
Yeah.
Because that element that I never bought was removed. Now it was really about, hey, you're pushing me out. Don't, I guess I could say I sort of felt bad for Gail that in her career and her sort of
Yeah.
stuck. That I not that I needed her to achieve anything, but at least the dynamics between the two of them, I had an easier time buying than I did in the previous movies, where it's like, you two aren't gonna. Why are you two together?
Yeah.
That's my feeling anyway.
Well,
Oh.
I will say overall, I agree. I do like them together. I think it makes sense in an opposites attract kind of way, but I think their overall trajectory, and you've already seen Scream 5, so you know where
Yeah.
it goes. I think it does make sense. I just think it's one of those slow burn things where they try to make it work, and the seams just start to unravel, and you just see you can't. It's not gonna work. You're
Yeah.
just too different.
Yeah.
But I do like the fact that they tried.
Right.
And that it did feel like they I personally, especially in this one, it felt like they cared about each other, but not enough to overcome their differences.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that friction. And if you notice, they are Dan's right, or
Travis.
Travis
That's
is right.
Travis.
Oh, doggone it.
yeah, Travis is right. In the credits, they are credited as Courtney Cox is just Courtney Cox. She's not Arquette.
I do like the part when she got really sassy with the deputy over and by the way, your lemon bars taste like ass.
Yeah.
Hey, was that deputy the actress? Was she in the first Scream?
Valentine.
No, she
Yeah,
was.
she was in
She was in
Valentine.
Valentine.
I know she was in Valentine. She played the. She played.
No, but she
No.
wasn't in any other Scream.
No.
Okay,
It was
because
the
they
first
make
time.
that. They have that whole conversation in the. Oh, sorry. They have that whole conversation. I don't remember where they are. Maybe in the station where she's. Oh no, it's in the
No,
house.
they're not
Yeah.
sitting- we're like, what are you doing here?
Yeah, well, remember I was in school with you, and I was thinking, oh wow, was she actually in the first movie
No.
as a minor little character that?
No, she wasn't. But that is a rollover from Scream 3, where the accomplice Angelina was supposed to be someone obsessed with
Oh yeah.
with Sydney. It was just their way of calling back to that proposed second killer that never happened, but
Gotcha.
probably did.
I'm gonna jump back really quick to the beginning, or somewhat the beginning, when I forgot the best friend's name.
Olivia.
When
Which
it got-
one?
Olivia. When she got-
Olivia. Olivia.
I love that closet part when they were like, "I'm in your closet,"
Oh
and
yeah.
then they're like, "No, you're not." And the killer's like, I didn't tell you which closet it was.
I didn't say it was your closet.
Yeah, that was actually that was
Yeah.
well done. I also like the scene where Courtney Cox is being beat up, at the same time they're flipping to the movie, back and forth, right?
Oh yeah. The
At the
Stabathon?
Stabathon.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I thought that was well shot and well cut.
Yeah.
I thought that was cool. I also like that whole sequence where she sets the cameras, goes out to the car. Now the cameras are all being turned off. Then she goes back in. I just thought it was clever. I
Yeah,
thought it was,
a nice
really
callback.
cool kind of little sequence of
Was-
events.
Not
What-
gonna lie, I fell asleep. So
Was that a was
Well,
that,
you missed the best part of the
I
entire
did.
movie.
was that a Culkin brother?
yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
the
Cool.
least of the Culkin brothers.
The least of the Culkins.
Wait,
Yeah.
Which one?
The
Charlie.
killer. Charlie was a Culkin.
Oh, yeah, he looks like a
See,
Culkin. That's funny.
You say he's the least. After 4 years, now you.
Oh yeah,
After
now
4
you notice
movies?
me.
After 4.
So what did you guys think about the new cast, the new generation?
I liked it better than Scream 3's New
Yeah.
Generation.
I think.
Don't you dare disparage Parker Posey.
Okay, yeah,
I
that's an
like Parker
exception.
Posey.
But hey, we haven't. Yeah,
I feel like I grew up with these, knowing where they came from. So
Uh-huh.
it's nice to see them all in this thing.
Did
Yeah.
you watch Heroes?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, Hayden Panettiere. But I don't like Emma Roberts. I'm sorry, I don't
Really?
like her. I don't think she can act. I like the one scene when she was when you realize she's a killer. I'm just I don't believe you.
I'm sorry, Sam. Hotel for Dogs is a masterpiece.
I think that works in that scene's favor, though.
I don't- I
agree with
I've had this
Frank.
discussion with Caesar. Yeah, my friend who does Let You Tell It podcast.
Yeah.
He doesn't like it. He doesn't like Emma either.
Yeah.
Because he says that she's really whiny. But I think that's the whole point. She's like the bratty, whiny
But I feel like you just
Me
need to
Too
be
cousin. You know?
right. But I feel like I don't think she achieved it. There's still a bit missing from there.
Uh-huh.
I just need more whining. I need you to be annoying.
Yeah.
She's not annoying. I'm just you could do better.
Oh, okay. I see
Yeah.
it. I see what you mean. Yeah. Personally, she's okay for me. I think she does better work in Scream Queens. I don't know if you've seen that.
Right. She's a brat.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But full on brat.
Right. I need that.
I think maybe it's just a function of the fact that she was supposed to sell. Oh, I'm an innocent final girl here.
Yeah.
You know, but I do like that whole last bit where you're
Oh,
like,
God, the
you're
montage.
just gonna keep going. That's cool. Oh, yeah.
When she sees the picture frame, she's like, "All right, here
Yeah,
I
She
go."
throws in the picture. I even like the little detail with the hair, where she gets
That-
the hand to pull the hair out,
the
and then she
sound?
breaks. Yeah, and then she breaks her finger.
I I was surprised. That isn't where I was going.
Oh,
yeah,
really?
that was a good reveal. I didn't think that either.
Reveal. I wasn't surprised by the Culkin being one of them.
Yeah.
That didn't surprise
No,
me
he had
at
that look.
all.
Yeah.
In fact, when he was tied up and sitting there, I kept thinking,
Trap.
this isn't
Well,
right.
yeah, because
She's going to come out, and it's not going to be because Ghost is going to jump behind her.
Yeah.
It's going to be because this dude is the one. So that part didn't. But I was surprised that what's her name?
Jill?
That Jill was the...
Jill Roberts, you gotta say the whole thing.
But
Jill Roberts.
I have to say, Jill Roberts, I have to say, I thought her excuse for becoming a serial killer was kind of weak. I mean, I guess it's
The
all
Me
that
Too?
social Me Too generation, but honestly, my family's screwed up. We would all be frickin' Ghostface if that was your reason for pulling out a knife and killing everyone in sight. I just thought it was a little,
See, that's why, and that's
over the top to become
don't
that.
think-
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just like if she were a little bit more bratty and more annoying,
You would buy it.
I would buy it more.
Yeah.
Yeah, like why can't it be me? You know.
But you'd want her to be a better actress then.
Overall, yes.
Yeah. I mean, no, I'm just saying
Oh.
to take us to where you're talking
Yes,
about.
yeah.
I think it would require a better actress.
I agree. Yes, that's what I'm saying.
I think she's pretty middle of the road.
Yeah. Oh, shit.
Hey, no cursing. The
Well,
fuck is wrong with you?
we know why she has a career.
Because she's a
Because
killer?
of Eric Roberts.
because of a hotel for dogs.
Yeah.
Because of Eric Roberts.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Who was
the
in-
clear that's the clear answer.
Who was
clear,
in-
the
I
clear
think he-
path to her stardom.
Wasn't he in Human Centipede? He was in Human. He was in the third Human Centipede.
Was he
Full
really?
sequence?
He was the full sequence.
No, I think full sequence was 2. Final sequence.
it
was
doesn't
the-
matter. They're still
There's
sewn
too
ass
many
to ass.
sequences.
I mean, ass
There
to
were-
mouth.
Sequence.
There were a couple of. I want to point. I don't see it up. There were a couple of lines of dialogue that I wrote down that I felt were particularly clever.
please do.
The sheriff, when he gets killed, and he goes, "Fuck Bruce Willis."
yeah.
I thought that when they first set it up, I was like, "Oh, that's interesting. They're talking about Bruce Willis," but that was it was worth it just for that line.
Were
It
they
was
talking about
great.
Bruce Willis?
Yeah, okay,
Yeah.
so
Yeah, they
And-
talk about what was it? They
The
were
cops, like cop
Cops.
cliches.
Yeah,
that
cop-
they always
Oh.
die.
the cop
unless
cliches,
it's Bruce
right.
Willis.
Yeah,
Wow,
right. I
Which-
thought that was great.
Felt
Which
like
I know
probably.
some people in the fandom hate that line, and I'm like, but
I
it's
love it.
it's funny.
It is so funny, and it's I don't know the actor's name, but he's on Blackish.
Anthony Anderson.
Yeah, he's,
Well,
he's a really good
he-
actor,
yeah,
and it
he-
was
Oh, yeah.
cool to see him early on in his career in a movie. In
He's
that part.
playing the same role. Like he was in Law and Order for a while.
Oh yeah, he
I
was.
never
And to
watched
me,
Law and Order.
Yeah.
I saw a little bit every time when I go past, like this, like demeanor that he had, like he's playing the same character.
Yeah.
From Law and
But
Order.
he was good.
And
That was
I'm
a
not
pretty
saying
cool
that's
death,
bad.
too.
Oh
No,
no,
I mean,
yeah,
that's-
yeah, I like it too. Where
That
it's
was
like
a pretty cool death.
Yeah, when it's bleeding from the
It was a
eyes.
Yes.
He's
very-
bleeding.
God,
very
it
cool
was
death.
the quick, just right in the forehead. I'm like, oh my god.
I
But
love-
again, it's that. I'm sorry to interrupt.
No,
Again, it's that ability with CGI to do the things they're able to do in this movie that they didn't do in the first 3.
Yeah.
But I
and-
don't even think it's. I'm sorry. Like, I half agree. I think too. It's a lot of what Frank was saying. Just because we've now, especially in the '90s and the '80s, a lot of horror was constantly like dueling with the MPAA, and I think now it's because you had like Human Centipede now and like
Okay.
and all these. I think it's like we're now can do more than we were able to do
Yeah.
before, because like sometimes when you watch these movies like that came out in the 80s and some of these horror movies that were supposed to be like ultra violent back then, I'm like, and they had to be cut back, I'm like, no, we have stuff now
When
that's
did
like
Human Centipede come out?
way worse.
But can I counter that then?
Yeah.
Because we've had this conversation before, and I believe on this podcast. Sometimes what you don't see is far more horrifying and
Oh.
scary than just showing it to me straight up. I found it at times watching like a movie like this. I watched it going, "Oh wow, how did they do that? Oh, that's interesting." I'm not. Sometimes it just took me out of it.
Well,
versus versus what I think it was trying to do. Do you know what I'm saying?
I'm gonna counter your counter.
Great.
With I don't even mean like scariness. I just mean like in the slasher genre itself, like just the amount of gore they're able to show. Like I agree 100%. Sometimes the less is more.
But I guess what I'm saying, and I'm going to counter your counter, and that sometimes it seems it's more gory when your imagination fills in what you didn't see.
Well, I'm gonna go eat at the counter
Okay,
while I
would you?
counter your counter of your counter
And?
say we're doing slashers, so we're gonna get blood and guts. And
But up until this one,
so are you countering?
No, this is my closure. But up until this one, all these other slashers we've been watching, we're not doing this.
I agree.
So this was a first for
Frank
me.
has a
Now,
counter.
which sounds like I'm going to be seeing a lot more of this as we move forward.
Well, I'm gonna renovate this counter.
Would you?
I think I have to agree. At certain points with a slasher, you do get an expectation of blood and gore, but I actually think that the best thing about that death specifically isn't the actual bloodiness. It's the fact that you have Ghostface in the background as like this almost monolithic silhouette shrouded in darkness, but you can see the mask and you can see him kind of, tilting his head a little bit, just appreciating the
His work?
death.
Yeah.
It's really creepy. That's the part
artiste?
it's the part that creeps me out the most about that scene.
I agree.
It's just off frame, but you can really see the enjoyment
Yeah.
there, and it's
I
really
think-
fucked up.
I think I got off course by talking about by talking about the CGI and stuff. I actually thought that was a great death too, and I
Yeah.
thought it was really cool and creepy at the same time. I agree. The whole thing with Ghostface just kind of, and now I'm cocking my head so no one can see, but it was that sort of like curious, almost like a curious, like watching this guy go down.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, and it kind of goes back to, because I think we all know, I think it was like Charlie, the one who did that kill.
Yeah.
Because you can see it too, because there's even the part where he stabs like Hayden Panettiere, and you can tell she's kind of enjoying. He's kind of enjoying because she's falling. He's like, I know, you're wicked. He's like, I know it's not as fast as in the movies. And then,
Yeah.
it's really weird. Like you can tell he's like really enjoying it. But
And also curious.
yes, Dan.
I was going to say, because you said that line, another great line that I really liked, because I love those lines. And we've talked about this in our own writing. When you have that climactic moment when the bad guy goes down, but that the hero character gets to have that one great line after it happens. And I thought Sydney's line was great. You forgot the first rule of remakes, Jill. Don't fuck with the original. I thought that was a great line.
When Frank and I first saw this in theaters, I remember like that Monday or Sunday we were like, oh, did you watch it? That's the first thing I texted Frank.
I mean, it's like, you know what I'm talking about, right? There's those
yeah.
lines, you know.
Hold on.
I don't know if it was my Netflix stream because I haven't seen it in a while. What did everyone think of the cinematography, like the overall look of the film? Like the way it was shot? Because to me, some of it looked like I said, I don't know, it was a stream. I don't know, like some of it to me, it looked like someone got like a little bit of Vaseline and put it over the lens of the
I mean, for the
camera.
Courtney Cox scenes.
You have
Like,
a
I don't-
vendetta against her.
Like I didn't like Frank. Have you ever noticed this at all
Yeah,
with the film?
I think it's both the best framed and worst looking movie in the series.
because I noticed there's other films that came around at that time, like the 2010, 2011, that have that same look.
Yeah, I like the movie composition wise. I think a lot of the shots are, framed really well. I like the idea of mirroring Ghostface off of wind chimes.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh, yeah, that was a good one.
Little things like that. I like the moment where Sydney first arrives at the
Bookstore?
At the bookstore, and she gets out. Just the way the camera sweeps over to her and kind of like reintroduces you to Sydney
Brand
for the
new
first
Sydney,
time.
yeah.
Exactly. I like things like that. I just think that like Travis said, it feels like they smeared stuff on the camera.
Okay, so I'm glad. Yeah, I didn't know if it
Sorry,
was
you know
my
what?
stream.
Maybe it's 'cause
Is that
I
called a
was-
star filter?
I don't know what it was.
I was watching the SD version, so I didn't really see
That's
it.
what. Well, that's what it feels like even in HD.
Really?
It's just such a weird choice. It's very like, oh, this is the way movies look now, kind of thing. You know, it's it's the only movie in the franchise that does it too, so it kind of stands out.
Okay.
But I mean, I wish we could get like a cleaner transfer of this. I mean,
Yeah.
eventually, if they do a 4K, maybe it'll look better. But
I don't know.
yeah, I just go. Okay, so let's talk about the ending for a bit, like the real ending, not the fake out ending where you think Jill got away. So I love the fact that they that they even kind of joke about it when they're in the hospital and Jill's like, the ending was supposed to be at the house. This is just silly.
Yeah. Yeah, when you told the story of what happened, how it was supposed to end with 5 and 6, I was like, oh, I see what they were doing. But
I think it's still fun.
I will say too, and I always like this in horror movies or like detective films. I always kind of like the whole when like they, like I said, Jill almost got away with it. But then I thought it was funny when Dewey was talking to Gail, and he's like, yeah, they said because, you two share the same injury. She's like, wait, how does she know that I got stabbed in the shoulder? And the same, I always like little reveals like that in movies. It's always fun.
To me, that was revealed when she said it to Dewey then.
Well, I'm saying it's when all the characters...
I went, okay. I mean, you just blew it when you said that. I thought, I thought Dewey was setting her up when he said, oh yeah, she might pull through. Like they were just setting her up to leave the bedroom and they were just going to nail her right then. But then that's too TV cop
like
show
a Knives
ending.
Out. Like the Knives Out kind of thing.
Yeah, that's
Columbo. That's Columbo.
That's too Columbo.
It's also too clever for Dewey, let's be honest.
I thought
Dewey.
Dewey...
I don't know how that guy became the sheriff. I'll tell you that. That is one effed up town.
He's always been clumsy, but the bedpan, him getting hit by the bedpan to seal the deal for me. That was,
I thought that was funny, though. What happened to me? You don't want to ask.
Well, I also thought, I don't know, I agree. Not agree. I like the whole, when Olivia gets killed, and Dewey's like, what happened? And they're like, well, we went around and we circled, and then we lost. He goes, oh, that's okay. I was like, what?
I know. When he said it to the sheriff, all right, well, okay.
Well, shit happens.
3 people
Shit
are dead.
happens.
Whatever.
It's just like the cops.
Don't let it happen again.
The cops are so incompetent in real life, and also in this movie. It's just kind of like, you're useless. You took forever to find Olivia. To get who ran out? I think it was Sydney that ran out. She's like, oh, they're not there. Just go in.
Let me take care of this.
She ran over to the house where Ghostface is.
Right.
Into the jaws of death.
Yeah, she ran in the
and
cop
nobody
car.
thought that was a little odd.
No, though it is I think it is a pretty consistent and great character development for her as a final girl.
Yeah.
At this point, she's gone through it so much. She's like,
but she's never armed
I'm just
properly.
gonna go.
Why would I be carrying so many guns on me?
But that kick,
And no one
that
ever
karate
shoots
kick.
Ghostface. Nobody ever shoots Ghostface.
Goatface?
Yeah, Goatface. Nobody ever shoots him. And when they do shoot him, they miss. Wildly.
I can't wait for you to see 5 and 6, even though we haven't seen it yet.
Okay.
The thing about guns will be addressed in the future.
I also, this is going to sound really stupid, but I want to say it anyway.
Dewey, is that you?
The whole Stabathon, all I kept thinking was, this is a small town where 5 people have been brutally murdered in a 24-hour period, many of which are their friends. A, Stabathon would never happen. B, it can't be hidden that well. It's a small town. It can't be that hard for the cops to find it.
How many farms do they have in there?
I mean, honestly. So, I mean, I know that sounds real, like I'm putting way too much logic, but that really did spring in my mind when I was watching, going, wait a minute. At least explain something to me so I can believe this is going to happen.
Yeah.
Because there were so many people there. If it had been like a group of those guys, who think this is totally cool, so we're going to do it anyway. But this was the entire youth of that town.
Well, Dan, scooting up my glasses here, my nerd glasses, they did say it was the fake out ending.
No.
No, remember they were like, oh yeah, when they were Tangis, they were back at the house. They're like, oh, that was that was the fake out.
That part, sure.
But I'm just joking, using that as an excuse. I'm just using that as an excuse of why it happened, because it's like, oh, it was fake.
Well, I know why it happened. I'm just saying, I don't know.
Technically, because the script asked for it.
Well, and Dan,
right?
didn't
Because
you say...
partly because it had to happen, and I get that too. I don't know. I just felt like it was just very forced on us without any real. I think more than anything, the biggest problem I had was, you can't hide an event this big in a small town that the cops would not easily be able to find and would break up immediately.
To be fair, Gail did find it herself, so they do kind of like clue you in on it wasn't that hard to find.
Well, the cops.
Oh
well,
yeah,
we all know.
Our dumbass cops couldn't find it.
Dewey said it's okay. They can't find it. It's like, well, you circled the block once, couldn't find it. But with that said, Dan, without the Stabathon though, you would have missed out on that whole scene that you were talking about with Gail that you really liked.
I know. That's why I prefaced this whole thing by saying, this is going to sound really stupid.
It's nitpicky, but it is
nitpicky.
valid to bring up But then again,
It's
as-
valid in the
as
same
we-
way. Why is Tippi Hedren going up the dark stairs when clearly you can hear birds on the other side of that door?
Yeah.
Why is she doing it? Well,
Because she's deaf.
As Hitchcock said, if
No.
she doesn't go up there and open the
I've
door,
never seen it.
you got no movie.
Yeah, Frank.
So it's
This is
just
fair.
some things you just have to do. Why do they always run upstairs? Well, because if you run out the front door, you'd get away.
Because that's where the strange noise is. Yeah.
pick an event, Frank. Frank, you got to pick one you go to. Stabathon in Scream 4, or
The play?
or Corn Maze in Freddy vs. Jason. Corn Maze rave.
I'd go to the Greek opera and Scream too.
You know what? I feel like I've got less of a chance of dying at Stabathon because
There's
that
so many
massacre
people.
in Freddy vs. Jason was crazy.
Throws the beer on him.
Yeah.
We got to do that. That's a future
Jethro.
episode. That's a future episode. Freddy vs. Jason.
So are we good to
Yeah. What do we
give
think?
some
What
final,
are our final
thoughts and move on?
I will just preface our final thoughts by saying that Nico Tortellini or whatever, the boyfriend, was terrible in this.
Trevor.
Yes. Trevor.
He was bad, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Was it him or was it just the writing was so lame
I
and he
think
had
it was
nothing
the
to
writing.
do?
I think they were trying to kind of mirror him with Loomis.
Billy. Yeah.
But I mean, it
It
didn't.
seemed too forced.
Oh,
and,
Right,
no.
like,
and
even
you
with-
knew.
Nowhere near.
you-
Even like with the reveal, with the first time you see him, it was the locker, very much like the alternate
Yeah.
thing where like the locker and you see him. It's very much like Loomis, but again, I think it's the writing. They didn't give him
Yeah.
much to work with,
No.
and even then he just became kind of lame.
Well,
And
that.
I even made a note. It better not be Jill's boyfriend that's doing this.
It was too obvious.
Yeah.
And then it was two things for me. It would have been too obvious for him and the killer, but at the same time it's too obvious as like a red herring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was too obvious in
Yeah.
every aspect of him. It's like he didn't even need to be there.
Right, even when he popped up at her bedroom, it's kind of like that's on the nose, very much
Yeah.
like yeah.
2 on the nose.
I feel like
Two.
outside of the first movie, I feel like all these boyfriends have been kind of lame.
yeah.
Right.
Honestly,
'cause it's been
the Scream
repeated.
2 boyfriend scene
Yeah.
in the cafeteria. I mean, that was awful.
I didn't like that. But
What'd
you think, Dan? What are your final
I was
thoughts?
gonna say. Well, I can start.
Yeah, please.
So I know I sound like I've been picking on this movie and making fun of it, which I am and did, but I thought this movie was a big rebound off of Scream 2 and 3. I thought it was way more on track with what I was hoping it would be. I wasn't expecting it. Like I said in my pre-thoughts, I just sat there and stared at the screen saying, okay, let's see what happens. So I was very surprised and entertained by the opening and the fake openings. I thought those were really fun. And I was pretty engaged throughout the movie outside of the little picky things I'm talking about, because I felt it was, like I said, I thought it was a big step forward from where they had left the series. So I think from Wes Craven's point of view, I think what he accomplished in this movie was pretty good in terms of this franchise. I'm very interested in Scream 5 because we no longer have Wes Craven involved. So now we have a new set of writers and directors, right? Or is it
Yeah.
the
Radio
same?
Silence, they did Ready or Not.
I know, but did the writer move on to the next movie at all?
Yeah, no, Radio Silence. I think they wrote and directed.
No,
Yeah.
but Kevin.
Kevin Williamson's not involved anymore.
Not involved. Okay.
He does executive produce.
I thought I saw his name somewhere on
he
there.
EP'd this, and he also did 5 and 6, but he does not write them anymore.
Gotcha. So, I am curiously, with some hesitation, interested in what Scream 5 is going to be like, since it's a new set of people. I mean, a whole new set of creators, rather. I would say I would give this movie 3 out of 5 defibrillators.
No. That's great.
That
That's
was
a great
nice
item.
finish, too.
Yeah.
Oh, that
That was
Clear.
satisfying. That was satisfying.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Especially
thought that
seeing
was
Jill's
really good.
body.
Well,
like,
and,
kinda
and I
twitch.
like too where
That
they were
was
like,
good.
where he was like, I didn't see, she came from behind or whatever, and then Sydney already knows. She goes, turns around and just shoots her.
Yeah, I like that. So, ooh, I see.
I'll go
Travis
because
is taking a pass.
I know, because he has a lot to say. I want to go because verbatim everything you said, but I want to add that I also enjoyed this a lot. I think the predictability of it it's expected, of course, because it's the fourth Scream, but it's also iconic. But I think it having a lot of twists, any like new additions to the story or like to the gimmicks, really counterbalanced what we were already expecting. So that, like you said, it kind of was like a good rebound and a reset to the story. So I enjoyed it a lot. And like you, I'll well, I mean, I already saw Scream 5, but I'm back in the game. I'm gonna keep up with it. I'm excited for Scream 6. And yeah, I'm gonna give it a 3.4 Screammakes out of 5.
Ooh.
Nice.
I will go.
Do you have that Scream mix with like brandy or?
She has it with
Vodka.
the 5 cream and the Screevy and the Scrafon.
I had the Screevies once, but I got
really
I
sunny,
got a
so
shot
you
and
need
some powder.
5
I'm okay now.
I just want to reiterate, I'm the only girl in this group, in this cabin. It gets weird.
And we're never letting you out.
It gets weird.
Those are Dan's words. I have no take in any of this.
Well, while you have no take, have your mouth to the mic, please.
Who's Mike?
Don't talk over here.
Mike, get out
Talk
of
over
here.
here.
Mike, get out of here.
Who's Mike? Mike, run for your life.
So like I said, this is my third time watching it. I hadn't seen it in well over 10 years now. I was scared to watch this again. That's kind of, I think, why I waited for the last second, because I think I was just afraid that a lot of the stuff that I liked was like, this is Travis 10 years ago. Like as in, like, I thought a part I really wouldn't like now, and I think, I hate to use this word, but I think would be kind of cringy, was the whole guy, like, was the whole nerd guy who was like, oh, I record everything now.
Yeah.
I thought I wouldn't like that, and a lot of the stuff that I thought I found cool, like, and like clever then, I was like, that's like freshman college Travis,
Right.
you know. But that's what was clear. But no, I actually ended up really liking it. I enjoyed it. I think, you know, as I liked the whole series. I do think this one, because at the time I had told myself, hey, like, other than the first one, this is my second favorite one. And I think I can say, based off the ones we've seen, it's my second favorite one.
Oh.
I like it. And you know,
What's your score?
well, I'm gonna say 2, and Dan, since you're saying 2, this was Wes Craven's last film.
I knew it was his last Scream film. It was his last film?
Yeah, it was his last film in general. And then I think in 2016, I think 2016 is when he passed away from, like, brain cancer.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah. But no.
I have a question, though.
Yes.
Because you said you were a freshman. How many years were you a freshman in college?
I was not a freshman in college when this movie came out. No,
that didn't answer my question.
Lots of people go to college for 7 years.
That's what you're getting at.
Lots of people go to college. Finish
So
it.
he was the
If you go to-
freshman.
If you
He
go to
was-
CSUN, that's for sure.
Finish it.
He was the freshman for the 7 years.
It was
yes.
Tommy Boy. Remember, Chris Farley goes, lots of people go to college for 7 years. And David Smith goes, they're called doctors. But
That just makes me think.
speaking of doctors fixing, I will give this movie 4 out of 5 blown off penises.
That was good too. I did like that.
The blown off
Oh
penis.
yeah, I'm always good for that.
Scroforum.
Oh, that's where
Scrotum four.
that's where Scroform comes from.
All right, Frank, you're on deck. Oh no, you're not
You're
on
on
deck.
dick.
You're in. Oh my gosh.
I totally missaid that.
Travis, you won't say bitch, but you'll say that up on dick.
I didn't
How
mean to
dare
say
you.
that.
Oh
Oh,
man.
and we can't edit it out. That has to stay in.
But because the
Veto.
other
I
one is
veto
about
this.
the
Get
other
it?
one.
It has to stay in.
That's what she
Once
said.
you're on dick, it has to stay in.
Coming up next, 5 cream.
Okay.
I'm gonna need it.
Okay.
All right, so I'm actually on a similar boat as Travis on this. I want to preface this by saying when I gave Scream 3 the score I did, it's because of enjoyment, not because of quality.
Can you remind me what you gave it? Do you
Probably
remember?
gave it like a 4.5.
I think I gave it like
yeah.
a 4.
a high 4.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so for Scream 4, I have to agree. I think it's a return to form. Some of it does come from the fact that they go back to the basics. They do a lot of callbacks. We didn't really get into it much with Kirby being like the new Randy, but she doesn't really have a lot to do in this anyway. But I liked all those callbacks to the original Scream. I mean, they were essentially trying to remake Scream in real life, but with the whole Darth Sidney aspect of it, which I thought was really cool. Now that we have 5 and 6 coming up, I'm okay with them not doing the original 5 and 6, but at the time, it would have been so cool to try that. Overall, I really do enjoy this movie. I love Scream 1. It's a near perfect film. I did give it a perfect score, but obviously there's little things here and there that may not have aged as well, or that are nitpicks of mine. Scream 4, I rewatch a lot, actually. A lot. Not as much as, other films, but I will have to give it, because of, all the things that I love about it. 4, Get Out of My House, Trevor. Is that a 5?
Ooh, that's a good one. Yeah,
I didn't
like
invite
that.
you. What are you doing here?
I think it's like, by this point you've got 4 films, and they're not all the same in tone either. Like, they're all pretty similar. They're horror comedies, but I feel like you guys are starting to get that idea that there's like different flavors to Scream with each film. They might not all be your favorite,
Right.
but it is like, for a horror franchise that has so many iconic elements to it, it is kind of varied still.
Yeah.
In the way that it executes those iconic moments. And I love the way this one does it specifically. It's very lean too, which I really appreciate in a horror film.
Yeah, well, me thinking too, I was like, wait, this is 4. I don't think I can name another horror franchise where 4 films in a row have the same lead and the same director
That's true.
all the way across. I don't
Twilight.
know. No, I think that was different directors. All right, see you all next week.
Who says you can't learn things on this podcast? All right, we're good.
All right, well, thank
Follow
you.
us, watch us. No, we can't watch us.
Well, watch us, but not like in person, because that's weird.
We're in a cabin, so if you can see us, please let us out.
Follow us, like us, review, share with your friends, family, people you don't know off the street that think you're crazy. Anybody, please.
When you're on the bus, there's someone sitting next to you, someone
Just tell
sitting
them,
across
hey.
from you.
Take their phone, go on the podcast app, and then add our show on there, please.
And just say, hey, Dan Davis sent me.
There you go. Speaking of which, I'm Dan.
I'm Travis Cool.
I'm Sam.
I'm still here.
And we're out.
Because I will do it.
To be honest with you, I don't care what you do.
Okay.
But say it once.
That's what my guidance counselor told me in high school.
I don't care what you do.